Okay, so we're gonna start with this air traffic control tower. I was looking into it, kind of like the shape of the roof is a little weird, and I apologize for the sudden movements. It's like my mouse is having issues. I'm not sure what's going on with the scroll wheel, but it likes to counteract itself sometimes. So it's kind of a pain to scroll. That's why I have to use these buttons for zoom. But yeah, I think I'm gonna start with the base, and I'll probably stretch it out to here just to have a base all the way up to this point. It seems like ground level is the grass, so seems to be 4 meters. Let's look up some airport information. Let's see. Okay. So it says elevation about 6 meters, so it's pretty close. And this roof starts at about 3 meters. Let's see, 3 goes up to 8, so 4 to 7. Interesting. Okay, and let's get some measurements. It seems like the roof kind of like extends out a little bit more. I'm assuming probably a 0.5, maybe a 1 meter margin. So we'll go ahead and measure between these 2 points about 5.5 meters. I'll probably estimate. Open a new file. By the way, guys, I have not done any modeling in months. This is my first time modeling, and this is probably like September-ish. It's been a really long time. So it's about 5 meters wide. So we'll do 5.5 on the x-axis, and then we'll do we start on this line, and this is really difficult because this top part's kind of blocking our view. So roughly from here to say here. So we'll say about 15 meters long in total for the Y value. So I looked up some references too. I don't know if we have street view for this area. We might. So this is from April. There's a bunch of trees covering. Yeah, this is pretty useless. Can't really see past the trees. So we'll have to just use, I guess, these references and Google Earth. Sometimes that's just all you have, and kind of have to work with what you have. Closing. Let's take a look at this. Oh. Does anybody know, anybody who's watching this, know if this is still like an active? It seems to be active. It says control tower, yes. There's some frequencies here on the airport website, so I'm just assuming it's still in operation. Okay, so the way I'm going to start with this is I'm seeing a door. I can't tell if that's a door or a window. I think it might be a window because I see like a little bit of wall underneath. But it could definitely also be a door. I think it makes sense that it's a door, because that could also be like a door step right there. So I'm just going to assume that that's a window actually, and that these two are the access doors. It's like a double access door. But that could also be like an electrical, you know, bots. That's an access door right there. That's for sure an access door. Not sure about these. That could also. That kind of looks like an electrical bots, or like an AC unit bots. So I'm gonna take a risk and say that this is the only door, the access door. There's like probably a stair or elevator up to the tower, and these are the only windows, because it would make sense given that this one's definitely a window. So I'll go ahead and stick with that. Okay. So we'll start on this side, I guess. Okay. So roughly from this point to this point, it's like a meter, roughly. So they're about a meter wide and probably like 2 meters long on the vertical axis. So I'll make some loop cuts though to define, like for example, from here to here, it's about 6.5 meters ish, or we'll say 6 1/4 of a meter, and we'll do edge length, and we'll just do 6 meters just to be safe. There's not much going on this side anyways, so do 6 meters. Then now we can start working on this area. So here's where you kind of have to start, you know, make some guesses, because there's no way to really have an exact number on where, you know, unless you're literally there to measure it. There's no way to know for sure that this window is 2 meters apart from the wall or anything, because we can't just do this. Or can we? I don't know. But it's not very accurate, because like it's a 3D measurement, and it's not like, it doesn't work that way, at least on Google Earth. Like you have to make your measurements, and like from a top-down view, you can't really do like side measurements and stuff like that, at least as far as I know. You could try and roughly figure out maybe a length, but it's probably not as accurate, and you're probably better off just eyeballing it, if you know what I mean. So that's what I'm gonna do. So it seems like this one is, so I'm gonna make a loop cut probably 2 meters away from the edge of the wall. Okay, and we'll bevel it by a meter. No, sorry. So here's a little piece of advice. So every time you bevel in Blender, you always want to bevel by half of the amount that you actually want your face to be. So if I want to bevel a face that's a meter wide, then I'm going to want to bevel by 0.5. That way I get a meter wide face. And then I'll just do the same here, except this one's going to be just a little bit longer. Now, this looks about right to me, roughly around the length. Maybe I would say it is bevel 0.375, and then we'll do 0.5 or 0.75. That might be more correct. I mean, either way, you're still gonna get a window. Whether it's exact or not doesn't really matter, as long as the window's there. So we'll go, I'm gonna go with a meter just because I feel it's just safer going for a meter. Just gonna take a drink of water. Okay, so we have one window on this side, and we did the loop cut on both sides, so I guess the window is on the same location on the other side. So we would just have to bevel here by 0.75, and then we have two windows now. So we have this one on the other side of the tower. Maybe I should change the title to like make it more interesting that I'm modeling a control tower, because a lot of people want to learn how to do that, especially when it's like a complex looking one like this one. Don't get me wrong though, there's way more complex towers than this one, but this one's relatively complex because of the way it's just like composed. Like this roof is like weird. It's just a little strange, but nothing we can't really figure out. So we have two windows here. We have the division between this part of the tower that goes up and then this lower part. It seems like this bigger part overlaps a little bit, which is fine. So, okay. I'm trying to figure out what my next step would be. I feel like I should just start like making the shape of this roof. So I extrude by 0.1, or is that not enough? Does it really matter? 0.25? I think 0.2. I think that looks about right. It's ultimately supposed to be about a meter higher, so if we did, how much did we do? We did 0.2, so this would have to be a 0.8 extrusion. Okay. So, sorry, excuse me. So we'll do this. I think we can extrude along normals. Let's see. Extrude along normals. Hold up. Let's apply all transforms. Try that again. By, I'm not sure how much did it by. Maybe 0.1, if it's possible. It doesn't look very even, but that's an easy solution. So when the faces are uneven like this, typically what I like to do is I just like to shift or S and then, the axis that it's on, that is facing perpendicular, and then 0, and you see kind of how that flattens out that, you know, ring of faces. And I'll do the same thing on this side, so S at 0. The axis that is perpendicular, so you can flatten out those faces. And then, you know, we might as well do the same thing here, you know, just in case. And that should be pretty even. It's probably not going to be the exact same length. Like you can see this one's 0.927, this one is a little less, 0.707. But I mean, I'm fine with that. I'm not too picky. So imagine I can just bring this down to about this level. A, merge by distance, we have removed that part, and then inset by probably, or scale in by probably like -2, or whatever that is. I don't think it matters, to be honest, because it eventually, like, we'll have to merge these either way. So I wonder if I can do merge at center. But that's not gonna work. Here. It's gonna do this the hard way, just because it's the old faithful way. Oh, there we go. So we can get rid of this. I think, wait, no, this we can get rid of. You can also get rid of this. This. About 3 meters, 3.3 meters. In that case, we could just do an edge loop there, and then just copy the X location, which is 0, and then join, and then we can just drag it out until it's 3 meters. And this is something that I didn't do, but that I highly recommend you do, is you add a reference. I don't think this angle is very good for a reference, but we'll add it in anyways. You know, it's better to have it than to not have it. So just rotate it a little more. It's more straight. There we go. So now we can import this into the project. Oh my gosh. Sometimes with these, it's not going to be exactly like aligned how you want it to be, so you just kind of have to rotate it and just make it work. There's been times where I have had to stretch it out. So here, for example, I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do. Probably just hide it for now because it's kind of obnoxious. But yeah, so we've done that. I feel like this should come out more. So we can maybe scale it out. Or extrude it. Yeah, no. It's fine. We'll save this as tower, the blend. and we'll continue. So there's kind of like this tower part. Trying to think what we should do. So I feel like we should start with let's start by measuring out this part. 4 meters. I think it's more like 3 3/4 for this part. And this is gonna be this whole section because we're just gonna make it come out of it. Maybe do some loop cuts on top of the roof so that it's even. Let's see, 3.75. For 14, so it's going to be the 10-meter point. We're currently at 2 meters above 2 meters. That's not right. This point, yeah, that's too low. I'm not sure exactly how that happened. It's not supposed to be 2 meters. I think I might have done something wrong at the beginning. So it's fine. I think we can just select this whole top part. Or let's undo that. Select all the edges on this top part. Let's see, how does that look? Looks fine on the wireframe. Okay, go back to wireframe. The edges move with it anyways. Kami Topper, welcome. Thank you for your comment. This is my favorite part of scenery development. Yeah, I think this for me, this is probably my favorite part too. I think I like touchscreen buildings more than I like modeling them. Because for buildings like this one, you kind of have to really think through it a lot. But yeah, I mean, modeling is fun. It's fun. So, what projects have you been working on? I know there's a lot of people with ambitious projects in the community, but not many people, unfortunately, are able to finish those projects. I've had many ambitious projects. I've tried to do the O'Hare terminal, and man, it's so complex. I wish I could finish it, but it's just too much, like, genuinely. So that looks about right. To be honest, I think I might restart just because. So how long is this entire thing? Here, let's. So 5.25 plus the 3.75 plus 3.51 plus 1 plus 1.5. Sorry about that. So 15 meters. Okay, 15 meters long and 5.5 meters wide. We can keep this one as a backup. we'll do the same thing with this one. So 15 meters on the Y, 5.5 on the S. So yeah, sometimes you just kind of have to restart when things just don't go right. And I just feel like continuing on this building is just going to take more time than restarting a new one. So you're flying FNO right now, working on some Las Vegas buildings. That's nice. Where's that airport? Is that in Nevada? I have not heard of that ICAO code before. Okay, let's see. So we'll do the same thing. We'll do the split. We'll just kind of speed through it. So the split happens at about 6 meters, I remember. 6 meters. There we go. Some of the city buildings, nice. That's nice. That's nice. I have seen a lot of VFR packages, and I've always wondered like if those sell well, because it sounds like a fun idea to make city buildings, you know. They're big, huge buildings that you can see, that you can use as landmarks when you're flying around. So I always just kind of wondered, you know, if those sell well at all. But I love airports that have city buildings. Like, it adds a lot of thought to it, for sure. Okay, so here's where I'm going wrong. So I need to measure the start of the roof, 7 meters. The ground's at 4 meters. So what I forgot to do is I forgot to raise the roof up to 3 meters. So we're gonna do that now. And make sure that it's actually at 3 meters. Okay, so now we can actually do the loop cut. Here, why don't we just bevel the whole thing? Delete these spaces. See, this makes much more sense to me. This looks more correct. So now we have both windows. And we'll move on. So we were on the roof part. We're gonna extrude this by 0.2 meters. And bring it out by a meter. Maybe not a meter, but half a meter. I think we might have to do it this way, unfortunately. I think that looks better, yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to extrude this by 0.8 meters. So now we have a meter tall roof thing, and we're going to scale this in. Having trouble selecting the faces. We're just going to scale this in, and I guess just make one loop cut here in the middle and bring these edges in. So I'm going to go ahead and merge those by distance, get rid of the edge length tool, merge by distance, and just continue to do that. I know this is not the most efficient method, but this is just the method I'm using right now. Get rid of this, and let's just get rid of all of these, and get rid of these too. And we're gonna bring this in by 3 meters, I believe, was the number. Yeah, we're gonna want to join those. So bring it in by about 3 meters. I'm gonna make a loop cut on this face right here, just so that we can join, make a new one, or a new edge. Bring this out by 3 meters approximately. This part doesn't really matter as much because it's being covered by this huge block anyways. So okay, so that looks much better than what we had before. So I already deleted that other cube, but I believe this is more accurate. So should we keep this or get rid of it? Yeah, let's just keep it. Okay, so let me just adjust this. There we go. Okay, so I was doing this. So this is about from this point to, let's say that point, about 4 meters. And I said it was probably around 3 3/4. So we'll loop cut it. And then how much space is left? So we have plenty of space, so it's fine. And this goes up 10 meters if I'm not wrong. 10 meters? Okay, so that's where we realized that our height was off. So we can just go ahead and extrude this on the Z by 7 meters. So now this is 10 meters tall. And I know this is very conventional, but I like to do it this way just because I feel like I have a little more control over my topology. And here, you know what? Here we can work on both things simultaneously. So on this edge right here, we can do a loop cut, or I guess a vertex cut of one vertex. Or we can actually, we can bring these in. We can just measure how wide it is. So 5 meters. Okay, perfect. This is currently 5.5 meters. Okay, so we have to bring both sides in by 0.5. Unfortunately, you can't really like fine tune the values and enter them manually. I wish we could, but it's unfortunately not possible when you're doing edge grab. You can if you're moving it on the ETS, but we just chose to do edge grab. It's easier. So we'll do 6.8. So that's 10 meters, and you can see. Okay, seems like there is, yeah. Can just knife cut it, I guess. I mean, if it works, it works. And then this comes up to 10, and then we can just fill it in. And that solves that problem. And I guess this is in the same ETS location as this. Perfect. So we can do the same thing on the other side. See, sometimes I use really complicated methods that ultimately don't need to be this complicated, but I do it for the sake of ironically having good topology. I just don't want my models to be messy. I want everything, you know, to be connected and organized. That's how I prefer everything. So then we can just do another loop cut, bring it down to this Z value so that we can connect the vertices. So do the same thing on this side. And now we can fill in this face. See, now we have this part. I don't know if we'll need this face though, but we'll keep it here for now. Actually, let's get rid of it. We're probably not going to need it. It's going to be covered by this anyways. And this is going to come out like a few more meters. I'm not sure how many. Maybe 2? Maybe 1.5 or 2 meters out. I'm assuming. Oh, and this is going to be a little tricky. Figuring out at what point it happens. Yeah. We're going to have to do some educated guesses here. It's not going to be easy. So, okay, so this is a pretty good picture because we can see here there's kind of like some handles there or some beams, and this is beveled on top here. So I'm not going to make it super detailed, but I'm going to make it detailed enough. We don't want to go too crazy, but we're going to make sure we add some of those details in. And this top part is apparently a balcony. I'm not sure what it's used for practically, but we'll make sure we add that in too. Okay, perfect. Debating whether or not I should knife cut all the way across, just so that this face is in an n-gon. It's kind of like one of those tough calls. I feel like maybe I should. Because there's 2. This is currently a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sided polygon in the shape of a triangle. You know, we might as well make a loop cut across, down and across. You know. And then beginning, starting from here apparently. Yeah, starting from here is where the building starts. And it goes up to, let's see, 4 meters. It goes up to 12 meters, so it's actually 8 meters tall. So we can do a loop cut around the entire thing, I guess. Put it at 8 meters. And based on this reference image, it seems like probably around 1.5 meters or 2 meters. It kind of overlaps into this cabin area. So we'll do that, I guess. And we'll add 0.5 meters of contingency for measurement. So we'll say it's about 2 meters out. Which would make sense, I guess. I'll just copy the X location on these. And then knife tool. The same thing here. Let's see. Oh shoot, I didn't realize. The Y location. So we can just copy and paste the Y location. Perfect. Then we can move this up, or whoops, extrude it up, shall I say. Extrude it up until it reaches this point, which is 8 meters. And then we can just fill in the faces. Should we get rid of this? Let's get rid of it. And then we can extrude this up, or yeah, get rid of this. Extrude this up. Make sure it hits 8 meters. And then fill in the faces accordingly. So fill in that face, fill in that face. And I'll do the same thing here. Just fill in those faces. And then fill this in. And then I guess we'll do the same thing here. So loop cut, and then we will do the same thing. Its location on the, make sure that matches. Wait, why? Okay. Make sure this is at 0. I'm not sure why it's slightly offset from 0. Captain Lee. Yeah. It's an interesting tower building. I will say that. Quite interesting for sure. It's kind of one of those buildings that you kind of dread modeling. Oh, okay, so here. We actually don't need this edge. We can literally just do this. Hold up. So if I move this, yeah. Oh, whoops. That should not have happened. So I wonder if, no, we don't want to move it down. Okay, I'm trying to figure this out in my brain. Is that the solution? Moving this up? Then we'd have to move this up. You just delete the face. Here, let's do this. Let's get rid of this spots so that it helps clear our mind. So here, we'll get rid of these, And now we have something more concrete to work with. A little more concrete. Sean, it will probably not be. However, if we do get like an overwhelming amount of requests for Explain 11 compatibility, we might make it available. So it's all up to Captain Leo, honestly. Like each chat, you might want to ask him. That's not really my my area. He's usually the one that takes care of the WED for this project, so thankfully I don't have to worry about that. Okay, so Captain Lee says it will be, so I guess it will be compatible with 11. Okay, so I have a solution. So I think we can copy this and then just fill in these faces. But then the problem is, how do we make it go? Okay. Here. I apologize, guys. This makes it easier for me. This makes it much easier for me. We can adjust this once we fill in the face. So here we're pretty much merging both faces, and now we can fill it in. Wait, actually, I can just do this. Oh, it's because this is not connected. Wait, it is. Aspen is 99% done. That's good. Make sure you send me a copy, as always. Alright, so yeah guys, this is one of those situations where I'm mentally like, I feel like I'm capable of fixing this problem in an easier way, but I always like to go the difficult route. Now, my instincts tell me this is the easy route. Wait, now, what if we did this? Oh. Okay, 1 second. Wait. No, it can't be the same height. It has to be different because it's a slope. You will? Oh, bet. Okay. See, the problem here is that you can't really adjust the vertices on the X or Y direction, because if you do, then the height is not going to be the same. It's not going to be an even slope. That's the problem. So that's what I'm trying to figure out here. So what if I did this? Because look, this in theory, so this is aligned with the axis. So this in theory, I guess we could try to align it, but it's gonna be difficult. Okay, hold up. Let's enter orthographic mode. Okay. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? We were off by 0.00002 meters. You know what? 0.002 meters. That's the margin of error. Can I? No, I can't make such finite increments. Wait. Oh, I did. So that's 2.75 meters. This is 2.75002 meters. Oh man, that really bothers me. Okay. 002. Okay, let's undo that. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Right on. Right on 2.75 meters. Right on. 2.75. 2.75 meters, 2.75 meters. See, this is what happens when you just don't pay enough attention to the detail that is clearly on the reference. So whenever you're modeling something and you're modeling something complex, do not ignore details like that, because it's going to be a pain in the butt to fix those issues. Being off, like, for those of you who think it's stupid, yeah, for those of you who thinks it's stupid that I'm like stressing over 0.00002 meters, an uneven slope can cause the entire shading of this portion of the building to screw up entirely. Like literally, like it's so important to get your measurements correct, because otherwise, like, you can screw up your building and like how the building actually looks like when you texture it. It's not a stupid thing to worry about. So we're gonna do the same thing on this side now. We're gonna do the exact same thing. So here's what we did. So this is technically in the same location on the y-axis. So I think what I did was, no, I knife tooled. So from this to this, by the way, this is definitely not the most efficient way to model. Do not follow my example. I'm just trying to fix a mistake for those of you who are just joining. I'm trying to fix a mistake that I made earlier by not realizing that the slope had to go in instead of like this, you know? So that's what I'm trying to fix right now, for those of you who don't understand what I'm doing. I'm trying to fix that problem. And unfortunately, I have to do it manually down to the millimeter. So, like literally, down to the millimeter. So here I'm off by 0.00044 meters. So I'm going to try to fix it. Oh, I have to go this way. Okay, just go in a little more. See, oh my gosh, I'm off by 0.0000 or 001. Cut the building in half and clone it. You see, that's probably a better idea. I don't have to do the other side, thankfully. This side is fixed. Yeah. Thank you for reminding me about the mirror modifier. Like when I model buildings like this for flight sim, I never pay attention to my modifiers. Like doing that is just, I don't know. Usually I never see the need for modifiers unless like I'm modeling like a huge building, like a terminal. But yeah, thank you for reminding me that. This is definitely much more efficient. Here, you know what? I'll undo that and I'll make this a backup. Speed run? Oh yeah, it's 841 for me. Here, I'll save this. I'll duplicate this. And I'll make this a backup. Just in case. Yeah, Red Fisher just saved me like 30 minutes. Thank you for reminding me about that modifier. Like seriously, like I would have spent a lot more time trying to fine-tune that value. Okay, so now let's fix this topology. Wait a minute. It's not even. Oh, I know why. It's cause, let's see. Why is my yoke still up? Because I fly every 5 months. It needs to be up on my desk. Yeah, it's just a height. It's not a huge deal, I guess. And we're gonna have to mirror modifier this thing again. I can just, okay, for this, I can literally just do, one sec. I feel like there's an easier way to solve this problem. Yeah. You know what? Screw this thing. It's fine. If it really bothers me later, I'll fix it, but right now we need to move on because I don't want to sleep too late. And I'll be here for a while if I keep doing this. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these edges. So now we have 1 2 3 1 2 3 blah blah blah. We have this as an n-gon. You know what? That might be why. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I don't think I want to spend a lot of time working on this side because I feel like this slope is there. It's weird because before I did mirror modifier, let me just show you this one. Unless it's just me. So let's delete this edge. This is the backup one. It goes right through the path, you see? So in theory, it should be right, but I'm not sure why it's not. Now, another thing I imagine we could do is we could just try to like align it here and I guess connect this. But then we're probably gonna get like a panel looking thing as well. Actually, no, that was actually pretty good. But anyways, it doesn't matter. We'll just keep working. It's a very tiny detail that I'm stressing over when in reality we have this whole other thing to work on. And I don't know exactly if the cause of this issue is the fact that the edge is not low enough or high enough, or sorry, low enough, because it should be a little lower. Because even if I adjusted the height, remember there's still this one right here. So it might be because it's actually not a four-sided polygon. That also could be a reason why, that there's very easy fits to that. Which is impossible, because then it's going to do that. So this edge has to stay there. It's fine. Stuff like that happens. You know, you can look at this side and this side doesn't have any issues. So at least, thankfully, this side won't be affected. Or, what if we merged by distance and like dissolved this edge? I think that fits it. But either way, I'm gonna keep my backup the way it is because I just don't want to risk any issues like moving forward. This is an N-gon. I know I can run into issues with that, but I'm gonna keep it like that just for now. I'll just do the same thing on this side. We can experiment with this model as much as we want just because we have a backup, but anyways, like either way, we have to like pay attention to our topology. That's my point. Because these two edges can cause issues with shading, but I don't think, hopefully they won't be that big of a deal. Otherwise, we can always connect these vertices to other vertices and create a whole bunch more faces. But trying to see my issue. So let me just show you again. So I'm not sure if it's because I don't know if the resolution of the stream is high enough, but do you see that seam there? This is my backup model. You see that seam there? I'm not exactly sure why it's there because I thought I fine-tuned this. It was supposed to match the slope going down, but apparently it doesn't. So that's my issue. And I think it might have been just a miscalculation, which, I mean, it's totally fine. It's not the biggest deal. If anything, we could just redo the whole calculations again, or just redo this whole face part. And that happened because earlier, when I was modeling this, I forgot to bring, it was like insetted, it was like out like that, or whatever. It's there because it has to be. Yeah, I understand that, but it shouldn't, like if it's lined up, then what I imagine is it shouldn't be. there shouldn't be a seam. Like if it's lined up with the trajectory like all the way down here. I'm trying to like analyze and see, like go back to what I did wrong, because it does make sense actually, because I think I was analyzing the trajectory from this point to this point, but it is a different slope. It appears to be a different slope than from this point to this point, and I want the whole thing to be even, you know. Merge inverts, yeah, I'm probably going to do, I'm probably going to look into this later. It's not that big of a deal unless it causes issues with shading, but right now we don't really need to worry about that because we haven't started texturing. So anyways, so there's that. The slope, I don't think it's very even, but it's not a big deal. I mean, it's nothing we can't fix later. What we're gonna go ahead and do now is we're gonna build the, yeah, so we're gonna build this thing. So I guess we could just extrude this up by 8 meters. Copy the X location, paste it. Apparently you can't loop cut across, which is fine. And it's to be expected, I guess. Let's see. Yeah. I think it would be better if we actually extruded straight, if it was like straight up. Another thing we could do is just extrude out from these vertices straight up to this point in the y-axis. And then just adjust the value of the vertices on the x-axis. So then x, oh, it's the same situation. That is why. It was because I put the vertex there. So you see x, I copy and paste the z value. I put the vertex there, because if we merge it, then look, there's the seam again. It's because I put it there for that sole reason. And ultimately, it doesn't matter if the seam is there or not, because it's going to be covered by the building anyways. So it doesn't matter. So you see, okay, so I'm going to copy the location here. I'm going to copy the z location. And basically, like that whole bottom part is going to get deleted. So this whole bottom part down here, we don't really need to see it. So these seams are technically like, they're not even a problem. But dude, thank you so much for your help. Like genuinely, like I don't even know. Sometimes stuff like this happens, and the best thing you can do is just troubleshoot to the best of your ability, I guess. But sometimes, like when you're in a stressful situation, outside feedback always helps. And I feel like this building in particular is very strange in its architecture. It's usually always the ones that are in the south, like Florida, Georgia buildings. These types of buildings in this area always give me a hard time. So yeah, done this stuff a million. Yeah. Can we get rid of the boundaries here? Doesn't seem like we can. See, here it doesn't really matter because it's a flat surface. So you can just move these around however you want. See, and now we can extrude this down by, not sure how far I extruded this one. I guess we could do 0.25. I believe I need to take a look at the reference. So this image here tells me that there is like a top edge here, probably 0.5. We can delete these, replace them with these. So now we're left with these two bottom ones. Since we're not going to have an interior that goes that far down, we can just use these. And like these back ones are typically redundant. These two are also redundant. These are not redundant. These can stay there. I think this one might be able to go. We'll leave it there anyways, for now. So we can do typically 0.5 width, 50 centimeters width, up to 0.2 meters, or not 0.2 meters, 2 meters. It's typically how high up I do my doors. That's 0.5? Oh, it is. Wait. .80 centimeters, 0.8 meters. So I should be beveling by 0.4. Yeah, it's been a really long time since I've done this. Since I've made doors. Now, this is 0.8 by 1, 0.25. So this door should be much taller. 1.25. We can bring this up by point. Nope. .75. That does not look right. I'll eyeball this one. So Red Fisher, thank you for joining. Thank you for your input. I really appreciate you coming on. I'll definitely see you later. I hope to see you on another stream. I'll be streaming the modeling of this tower for probably the next few days because I'm planning on finishing this airport project, and I figure streaming the modeling is kind of like a motivation to finish because I haven't done this in months, and there is a good reason why I haven't. So. But yeah, I really appreciate you joining. Okay, let's do this inward. Does this look right? I feel like this is too much. So I'm gonna eyeball this a little bit. I'll do 0.55, bring this in a little more. Yeah, that looks better. It's a little smaller than the door to scale, but it looks better according to, because I mean you don't really know how wide this door actually is. Like this I'm just going off of by whatever this reference is telling me. You just kind of have to go off by sheer eyeballing sometimes. Just do that, and we can extrude this out by not too much. We could just do that, and apparently doesn't let us do it. That's fine. Okay, so there's that, and now we have our door. Let's see how that looks like. Perfect. So now we can bring this up by probably 0.1, 0.05. Push that in by 0.02. Okay, so I'm going to save the projects, and this is what we have so far. And I am probably going to stop there just for the sake of time. So yeah, next stream we can work on, so according to this reference, never mind, I have to bring these back in. Because first I need to extrude this out by several meters before actually extruding it out again by 0.05 meters. So we'll leave it at that. Go ahead and save the project. We'll finish the rest of the tower in probably the next 2 to 3 streams. It shouldn't take us that long to model the actual tower. Obviously, if you're running into issues, that's probably gonna hoard some time, but otherwise, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. And yeah, so thank you for all of you who joined, and I really appreciate all of your guys' time. And just go ahead and stay tuned for more modeling streams.